You know what's really interesting? Most men think that being good in a relationship is about providing, protecting, or showing affection in big, grand ways. But what they don't realize is that women appreciate certain positions, not physical, but emotional and spiritual, that men often overlook. The first one is vulnerability. A woman feels closest to you when you let her see the real you, the one behind the armor, the silence, the pride. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's power. It's saying, I trust you with my truth. Most men avoid this because they fear losing control or appearing soft. But a woman doesn't fall for your perfection. She falls for your honesty. She falls for the man who can say, I'm struggling, but I'm trying. That's where connection begins, not in dominance, but in authenticity. The second is emotional leadership. This doesn't mean control or authority. It means being grounded enough to hold space for her emotions without being swept away by them. Women appreciate a man who can remain calm when things get messy, who listens not to respond but to understand. Emotional leadership is strength in stillness. It's the ability to say, I'm here, we'll figure this out together, instead of running away or shutting down. Most men avoid this because it requires emotional maturity, not reacting from ego, but responding from presence. The third is patience. Every woman has walls, and those walls are not built from arrogance. They're built from pain. She's been judged, misunderstood, or hurt before. So when she takes her time to open up, don't rush her. Don't demand her softness before she feels safe. Be patient enough to earn it. Women appreciate men who understand that true intimacy isn't instant, it's built, brick by brick, with trust. Patience tells her you're safe here, and that's when she lets her guard down. The fourth is intentional listening. Most men listen to reply, not to understand. When a woman speaks, she doesn't just want her words to be heard, she wants her emotions to be felt. Listening is an act of love. When you stop interrupting, stop fixing, and just be with her in the conversation, she feels seen, she feels valued. And that's more powerful than any romantic gesture. Because women don't remember what you said, they remember how you made them feel. And finally, the fifth one, presence. Not your body sitting beside her while your mind scrolls through distractions. I mean full presence. The kind where she feels your energy, your attention, your awareness completely on her. That's the rarest form of love in today's world. Presence is intimacy. Presence is respect. Presence says, you matter to me right now. Most men avoid these positions because they require emotional courage. Not muscles, not money, but mindfulness. And yet these are the very things that make a woman stay even when the world tries to pull her away. So remember this, women don't need a man who's perfect. They need a man who's present. A man who's not afraid to feel, to listen, to lead with love. That's the kind of man she'll appreciate and never forget. Most people think love fades because of distance or time or arguments. But in truth, love fades when presence disappears, when attention drifts, when you stop seeing the person you're with. Presence is one of the rarest forms of love. This world and women feel its absence immediately. You can't fake it. You can't replace it with gifts or apologies, because when you are no longer present, your energy speaks louder than your words ever could. A woman knows when you're physically there but emotionally elsewhere. She can sense when your body is next to hers, but your mind is trapped in distraction, your eyes are empty, your spirit is tired, and that's when she starts to retreat. Not because she wants to, but because she feels unseen. A woman blooms in presence, she wilts in neglect. Presence isn't about spending every second together. It's about how you show up in the moments you do share. When she talks, are you truly listening, or are you waiting for your turn to speak? When she reaches out, are you meeting her energy or brushing it off because you think it's not important? The truth is, presence requires awareness, and awareness is rare because it demands stillness. It demands you slow down long enough to feel. Most men think love is about doing, providing, solving, fixing. But a woman doesn't fall in love with a man's ability to fix her problems. She falls in love with the way he makes her feel safe enough to face them. She doesn't need constant solutions. She needs understanding. She needs your focus. When you look at her with full attention, she feels like she's the only person in your world. And that feeling, that's what she remembers. That's what she craves. You could take her to the most expensive dinner or give her the most luxurious gifts, but if your mind is somewhere else, she'll feel it. You can't hide energy. A woman's intuition is too powerful. She reads your silence, your tone, the way your eyes move. And when your presence fades, she begins to question her worth, not because she doesn't know it, but because she wonders why the man who once made her feel seen now looks right through her. Presence is not about being perfect. It's about being real. It's saying, I'm here, I'm listening, I care. It's turning off distractions when she's speaking. It's being mindful enough to notice the little things, the way she pauses before she says something vulnerable, the way her energy shifts when something's wrong. Most men miss those signals because they're not present enough to feel them. Presence also means emotional steadiness. When things get tense, when emotions rise, when misunderstandings happen, presence allows you to respond instead of react. To stay calm instead of defensive. Women feel safe around presence because it represents strength without aggression, power without control. It's the energy of I'm grounded no matter what's happening, and that is magnetic. When you are truly present, you bring healing. You give her permission to relax her armor, to stop pretending to just be, because your energy tells her you are safe here. That's what creates emotional intimacy. That's what builds trust. So many relationships die not because of lack of love, but because of lack of attention. You stop looking at each other the way you once did. You start scrolling while she's talking. You start multitasking during conversations that actually matter. And slowly, she stops sharing. Not because she doesn't care, but because she's tired of feeling like her words compete with your distractions. Women remember how you make them feel. When you're fully present, she feels seen, valued, and respected. When you're not, she feels invisible. And the irony is, men often avoid presence because it feels uncomfortable. It feels like slowing down. It feels like vulnerability. But presence is strength, the kind that doesn't need to prove itself. It's a quiet confidence, a stable energy that says, I'm not going anywhere, I'm right here. Presence also creates polarity. It deepens attraction. When a man is fully present, he holds a certain stillness, and that stillness draws her in. Because in that energy, she feels clarity, direction, safety. The feminine opens in the presence of grounded masculine energy. But when that energy wavers, when it's distracted or disconnected, she starts to close off to protect herself. Presence isn't about grand gestures, it's in the small things. The way you look into her eyes when she speaks, the way you put your phone down during dinner, the way you remember what she said last week, because you are actually listening. These things seem small, but they create an emotional world where love thrives. And remember, presence is a choice. You can choose to be distracted, or you can choose to connect. You can choose to rush, or you can choose to breathe. The man who chooses presence doesn't just keep a woman, he inspires her. He brings out her softness, her trust, her warmth, because when she feels your attention, she feels your love. So be that man, the one who listens, not just hears, the one who looks, not just glances, the one who's there, not because he has to be, but because he wants to be. Because presence is the purest form of devotion. It doesn't just say, I love you. It says, I see you. And in the end, that's all she ever wanted. Vulnerability. It's a word so many people fear, yet it's the very thing that makes love feel real. You can't have deep connection without it. You can't build emotional intimacy if you're always hiding behind the walls you've built to protect yourself. The truth is, the strongest men are the ones who allow themselves to be seen. Not just in their victories, but in their struggles. Because vulnerability isn't weakness, it's the courage to say, this is me, raw and unfiltered. Most men avoid vulnerability because they've been taught that emotions make them soft. They've been told to stay composed, to stay in control, to never show pain. But what they don't realize is that the woman who truly loves them doesn't want perfection. She wants truth. She doesn't want a man who hides behind pride. She wants a man who trusts her enough to be honest. When a man opens up even slightly, it creates a ripple inside a woman's heart. Because vulnerability builds emotional safety. It tells her, you trust me with your truth. And that trust is powerful. It invites her to open up too. That's how connection deepens. That's how two souls begin to understand each other beyond the surface level. There's this idea that vulnerability means oversharing or appearing broken. It doesn't. It means authenticity. It means saying, I don't have it all figured out, but I'm trying. It's being brave enough to say, that hurt me, or I'm scared, or I need you. These are not signs of weakness. They're signs of emotional strength, because only someone who is truly secure within themselves can reveal what's inside without fear of judgment. And women appreciate that. When a man lets his guard down, she doesn't see him as fragile. She sees him as human. She sees depths. She sees honesty, and that's what creates emotional attraction. Not just physical. You can impress a woman with your looks or your achievements, but you can only touch her soul with your vulnerability. The truth is, vulnerability transforms relationships because it allows two people to meet in truth, not performance. Most men think they need to impress to be loved, to always appear strong, confident, untouchable. But love doesn't live in perfection. Love lives in the messy, imperfect spaces where you allow yourself to be known. Because when you open your heart, you're saying, I'm not afraid for you to see me as I am. A lot of men think their role is to protect, and yes, protection is beautiful, but real protection also means emotional transparency. When you show your pain, your fears, your hopes, you protect the relationship from growing cold and distant. You protect her from feeling like she's loving a wall instead of a man. Because when you close yourself off, she feels it. And when she feels it, she starts to close off too. Women fall in love with how you feel, not how you act. You can be the most charming man in the world, but if you don't let her feel your truth, she'll never fully trust your love. Vulnerability is the bridge between your soul and hers. It's what turns attraction into devotion. It takes bravery to admit when something hurts you. It takes strength to express emotion without feeling ashamed. And it takes real maturity to realize that love isn't about appearing strong, it's about being real. Because no matter how tough you act, there's nothing more magnetic than honesty. When a woman sees your vulnerability, she doesn't think less of you. She softens. Her walls drop. She feels invited to be herself too. You create a sacred space where both of you can exist without masks. That's where true intimacy lives, in the unfiltered truth of who you both are. But here's what's important. Vulnerability doesn't mean being weak or dependent. It means having emotional depth. It means being in touch with what you feel and expressing it without fear. It's strength guided by heart. When a man can say, I'm struggling, but I'm still standing, that's powerful because it shows he has courage, not just physical, but emotional. A lot of relationships fail because both people are too afraid to be vulnerable. They want to be understood, but they don't want to be seen. They want love, but they hide behind pride. But pride kills intimacy. You can't connect from behind a wall. You have to meet her eye to eye, heart to heart, and say, this is who I am. That's where love begins, in truth. When you're vulnerable, you allow love to grow in its purest form. You stop performing and you stop pretending you're fine when you're not. You stop suppressing what you feel just to appear strong. Because the truth is, strength isn't in how much you can hold in, it's in how much you can release without fear. Women appreciate men who can be strong and soft at the same time, who can protect but also express, who can lead but also feel. That balance is rare, but it's what makes a man unforgettable. Because when you're open, when you're honest, when you're vulnerable, you don't just love her, you invite her to love you completely. So allow yourself to be seen. Let go of the fear of judgment. Let go of the idea that emotions make you weak, because they don't. They make you real. They make you human, and that's the kind of man who doesn't just attract love, he sustains. In the end, vulnerability is not the loss of power, it's the discovery of it. When you choose to open up, when you choose to let someone see your truth, You reclaim your strength in the most beautiful way. And that's when love stops being something you chase. It becomes something that naturally flows toward you.